So it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and we had been on the stand probably 5 or 6 hours by now. We got to the stands, before daylight, and so we decided to regroup. And we had the same conversation you probably had many times. Do we go in? Do we get a bite to eat, or do we go back up on the stand for another hour or two and hope that some of the other hunters that decide to go in for lunch kick something up to us? Well, fortunately that morning we decided to go back out on the stand for another hour or so, and about 45 minutes later, it was about 11:45 in the morning now, I see this pair of antlers coming down through the woods. You know how sometimes when you see a buck and you just sort of lock on the antlers, and it's almost like they're just sort of floating through the brush and the trees and things. So I stood up and I took aim, and when he paused, I took the shot. And I was really, really proud of that deer. It was one of the first big bucks I had ever shot, and the antlers were really unusual. They were large at the base, and they had some tines broken off, and there was a hole in one of the antlers where a worm had gone in during velvet, and he had a lot of scars on his back, on the back of his neck, so he had been a real fighter. And my point is this: had we not decided to go back out on the stand, I never would have had a chance to shoot that buck. And fortunately that morning the weather wasn't too bad, but there have been some days where I've been on the stand and it's been cold. I mean, it's been frigid, just brutally cold. And so we came up with the hunter's apron, and it's been keeping me incredibly warm for several years now. And so if you're the kind of hunter that you like to stay stationary, whether that's a ground blind or a tree stand or whatever, and let the game come to you, then consider the hunter's apron. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me right here. I'll be glad to get back to you. And so while it's got kind of a different name, hunter's apron, and while you may not have seen anything like it on the market, I can tell you this: it was specifically designed to help you stay warm and hunt longer.